I have choices now. I don't know what to do. Just want to make sure you guys don't have a piece of paper in my hand. All right, open your ears. I'm about to drop some truth in you. Come on, it's not that funny. Okay, maybe just a little. All right, guys. One thing I'm going to ask you today is, what is the number one hot subject of the moment? I haven't even started. Why are you laughing? Okay. Currently, this is the most political-esque, drama-filled thing that we are talking about in our current discussions, and that would be same-sex marriages, which stem from homosexuality. Now, some states deem that it's okay, and they voted for it, and they've okayed it, but then it goes back to Congress, and they vote against it because of past laws that some guy back in the 1800s, 1700s said, no, we can't do that. But if we look as Christians, and we look at it and ask ourselves, and we say it's wrong, do many of you know why you stand on that position, why we don't allow same-sex marriage, or why we disagree with homosexuality in general? Unfortunately, the world currently goes against the grain of what God has set up for us. They don't believe in setting the same standards that God has. They don't want to follow the commandments, such as do not steal. Stealing is kind of a gray area. If you need to survive in a third world country, then hey, it's all right. Don't believe in God's supernatural power that He's going to provide food for you. You can just go and take it because you have people that you need to go feed at home. So that's all right. So let's not rely on God to help us out in any sort of situation here. And unfortunately, that's a counterfeit that Satan has done to go against what God has set up, that he wants us to follow. God wants us to follow the commandments because he wants us to rely on Him. But Satan doesn't want us to rely on Him. So he creates counterfeits that God has set up for us. Homosexuality is a counterfeit. God didn't set that up. Straight marriage or heterosexual marriages are what God has ordained. How do we know this? How do we know that? Well, God is the head of the marriage. And we know this because of a verse that Jesus says himself when he's quoting back to Genesis. And I'm going to read it to you here. This is Jesus talking to the Pharisees when they're asking him about the stance on divorce. And he actually answers quite a bit for us. He says, "Haven't you heard," he replied, "that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female and said, for this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two but one. Therefore what God has joined, let man not separate." So right here we already clearly can see that it doesn't say that God wants two guys to get together, marry each other. And in fact, it doesn't even say that let man marry multiple wives. It does not at any point say it doesn't say wives. There's no S at the end. So guys, please, when you're reading past in Genesis and you hear about multiple wives, that wasn't actually something God wanted. That was just man going in his own way. So if someone kind of goes, well, the Old Testament and the Bible doesn't actually clarify what marriage is, totally ignore that part because they're just trying to throw you off. It says right here that God wanted man and wife and woman together. It doesn't say anything about man. Oh, you know what? Classic joke. Adam and Steve. It doesn't say anything about that in the Bible. Where is the Steve? He's nowhere to be found. You'll get it later. That was a joke. It was a joke. And if we read in Leviticus where he's giving us our natural laws and things that he wants us to follow, such as like how to slaughter a lamb, which is awesome. God clearly even goes and actually even states to us what he actually views homosexuality as. And he actually says, do not lie with a man as you would lie with a woman. That is detestable. God actually, in his own very words, says, that's detestable. Holy cow. That's disgusting. So what do we say when they call us narrow-minded and we can't tolerate it? What do they say when you're just not allowing them to love? They love each other. Can't you tell that? They love each other. Well, too bad. That's going against what God says. I don't care. We need to obey our Father. He set rules for us to live by. Now, they're going to complain and they're going to say, well, you know what? Back in the 60s, we were oppressive towards the African Americans and we didn't allow them. We didn't consider them humans. You're just not considering me human. Well, you know, the difference is between gender and race, is that's something they're born with. That's something that they are. Homosexuality is something that you do. That's a choice. That's something you act upon. If you can prove to me that DNA really does have this one little strand in there that actually causes you to be gay, bring it out. Bring it to me. Bring out that analyst. But actually, none of the actual diagnoses have really been proven successfully. Gabe, I don't want... No. No.
If there was a gene, wouldn't it
Exactly. Exactly. Hey! You guys can raise the roof on that one. That's okay. So what I just want to let you know is that homosexuality is a choice, and it's a choice. God made us a certain way. He wants us to follow certain rules. He wants us to obey Him. He wants us to rely on Him. Homosexuality is a counterfeit. It's a perversion of what God has set up for us. So when you look at that, look at the counterfeits and all of that, you'll just see that God has set up things for us. I'm just going to start rambling now, so I'm done.
Hey.